Welcome to the Jello Jigglin podcast. I'm your host Ryan Ward, and this is it. This is this is the new setup. This is the new blinding light I've got in my eyes right here, and beautiful background that I set up. I think I actually kind of really dig this. It's a signed Magic Johnson ball, signed Kobe Bryant bottle, Mamba Mentality book. Got my my Magic Mountain basketball trophy up at the top there, which I won with the guys back in the day. Anyway, so this is the new thing. This is where I'm going. This is how I'm going to do this. So I'm totally fresh and new to this stuff. I mean, I've been on our Lakers Nation podcast a bunch of times and doing playback and all that stuff, but this is the direction I'm headed. And what a time to do it, man! Luka Doncic, incredible. The man has just been amazing, and now I can't even Bleav I'm saying this and actually letting it soak in and it be reality. But it was already crazy enough that we were dealing with, we're not dealing with, but like the fact that Luka is a Laker is just insane. I still, I'm watching it and I'm just like, it seems too good to be true kind of thing. Cause it's the next 10 years of the Lakers being kind of, maybe not set in stone, but just, very promising moving forward. And the future looks bright, and people are going to want to come to LA and play with him. And there's a good chance that, this team could be a title contender for years, even post LeBron, which I'm pretty sure is going to be after next season. Don't know for sure yet, obviously, but I'm betting that's the plan. So yesterday they beat the Clippers for the second time in a row. And it was kind of a trip. It was kind of a trip in the sense that this is again the new reality, and the Lakers are the second seed in the West. So Boston beat Denver, which resulted in Denver dropping and Lakers going up with the win against the Clippers. It was fairly decisive. I mean, in the end, there the Lakers are kind of screwing up. I mean, they typical Lakers, in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they just let teams kind of like get back into the game slowly. But same result, they beat him. I mean, Kawhi kind of put on a show. It was like kind of a throwback performance for Kawhi. What 33 points, 10 rebounds. And then you just look at the Lakers, and they didn't have Rui Hachimura. They did not have Austin Reeves, and they still won. Two of their starters, who are solid contributors, not on the floor, replaced by Gabe Vincent and DFS. Neither of those guys did anything like, to rave about. I mean, DFS is a great player. 1 steal, 11 points, 4 boards. And then Vincent kind of just went through the motions, didn't shoot great, 3 for 10, 9 points, but it didn't matter. I'd say main reasons Luka was just kind of doing his Luka thing, right? Game or team high, 29 points to go along with 9 assists, 2 steals, 6 rebounds, 37 minutes. There's a little bit of a scare there. I guess his hip, I think it was his right hip. Something happened. He got bumped or something, and he went to the locker room, and he kind of reminded me of when AD got banged up, and you head to the locker room, and you're just like, oh no, is this for a long time? Is he out for the game? Whatever. Sorry, I'm drinking coffee at the same time. It's kind of not agreeing with me. But no, he came back. He came back to the game, and he's fine. I mean, he even addressed it after the game. I think he actually said he knocked knees for the second game in a row or something, and he said, and you're always just going to feel that. If you ever played ball, one of the most painful things to do is knock knees with somebody, because strangely enough, one of you get the worst of it, and the other guy sometimes doesn't feel anything. Right? I've been the recipient on both ends, where I don't feel nothing, and the other guy's just in a ton of pain, or vice versa. But yeah, he was fine. I think they've been managing his, it's status. I wouldn't be surprised, because tomorrow they play the Pelicans, who are god awful. But it could be a trap game, especially if Rui and AR aren't playing, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I think Rui's out for like a week. I think, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same for Reeves. But it could be a management game. It could be where Luka doesn't play or LeBron doesn't play. Like LeBron had a bit of a rough night with 8 turnovers. He only scored 17. He's on the cusp of 50,000 points, which he's going to get if he plays tomorrow, right? Unless something crazy weird happens, which is wild. 50,000 points is combined regular season and playoffs, which is cool. But I feel like the narrative has totally shifted to just Luka and what Luka's doing for this team, and the fact that everybody on the team already loves the guy and loves playing with him. One guy who definitely loves playing with him is Dalton Connect, the rookie that traded for about 2 minutes and came back. He scored 19 points off the bench last night. He had more points than LeBron. When he went 7 for 10, I mean, he was just locked in. He was getting a lot of catch and shoots, like Luke was hitting him in stride. LeBron's hitting him in stride, just to where he's just, all you got to do is sit there and catch and shoot. That's it. And he was coming through. It looked like Connect from the beginning of the season when he was just balling out of control and making a lot of headlines, and people are rookie of the year, yada yada yada. But he looked great, and he took it. I mean, without Rui, without AR, he was going to be a candidate to play a lot more minutes. What did he play? 25 minutes off the bench, so most of any player off the bench. So I keep leaning for. I got to get used to this look, right? Because at the back, I'm used to this like high, looking down thing, and our gal Lindsay kind of put me in check. She's like, no, Ryan, you got to do it this way. This is the right way to do it. So, like I said, this is all new for me. The new norm, hopefully. But anyway, so Connect looked awesome. I thought that's exactly how you got to use that kid. And I think he's only going to get better. And it's great from a depth perspective that they were able to get that from him with Rui and Reeves being out. Because there's been a lot of question marks about that. Like with the bench is extremely thin, especially in the front court. And you got guys you kind of can't depend on. I mean, Reddish it looks like he's never going to see the floor again. Alex Len, who they just signed, was a DNP last night. Markieff Morris, same thing. I don't think he's ever going to see the floor unless it gets really bad injury-wise. Trey Jemison, who I actually really like. He's kind of like an old school throwback kind of guy, super aggressive. Like he seems like he should have played for like the Bad Boy Pistons or something. Kind of like a meta, like a meta type. Like he doesn't care. This is how I play. If you don't like me, I really don't care. He's physical. He doesn't. I mean, he's awful from the free throw line. I think last night they put up a graph. He said he was like 37% from the line or something, and you could tell with his form, it's just very wonky and not fluid at all. But I like him. I think he's a banger. I think he's a guy. He's going to give you that physicality this team is sorely missing. Vando played well. 2 blocks, 8 points, 9 rebounds in 22 minutes off the bench. He was 0 for 3 from deep, but still 4 for 7 from the floor and plus 10. Like not bad. I mean, that's what you need from Vando. Hopefully that's an every night thing. But we'll see. And then this morning, it happens after every new month. The awards come out for the Player of the Month in both conferences, and then Coaches of the Month. And I thought for a second, I'm like, you know what, JJ's got a legit shot at this. And it's the first time I've ever thought like this, and I'm sure everybody else thought the same way because, I mean, the team's been incredible. They've won 6 straight, and they're beating good teams, like kind of in convincing fashion. I mean, the game before this, they beat the Clippers 122-97, right? It's crazy. I don't know. Did I get that wrong? I think I got that wrong. I did. It was 106-102, and this game was 108-102. So, but that shows you right there too, though. They've only lost to the Clippers once this season, and it was in January 19th. Um, you got to do a better job of having this a little bit closer to my face, somewhere else. Anyway, um, they've got the Clippers number this season, and the Clippers are actually pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty good. I don't think Norman Powell, I think, got hurt. He only played 9 minutes. Yeah, so the guy who they really rely on didn't play most of the game, but I still don't think it would have mattered. I think that the Lakers just give that team a lot of problems. I think the only advantage they have is in the paint with Zubac. He was a monster the game before. I think he had like a 27-point double-double or something. But they contained, I think that was on the scouting report for the Lakers going into this game. Like, contain Ivica and make sure he doesn't do anything. And he still had a decent game, I guess, by his standards. What do you get? 12 points, 9 rebounds, but it wasn't even close to what he did in the last game. So all good on it. But so JJ didn't get Coach of the Month, which is unfortunate. But let me pull this up real quick. I should have this ready. But where is it at? Hold on. So the guy whose name I cannot pronounce, Mark Dagnall, is that it? From OKC? He got it, and JB Bickerstaff got it from the East for the Pistons. Deserving. I mean, obviously, 9-3 for the Pistons, 11-2 for the OKC, who I think is going to be the Lakers' toughest competition moving forward in the West. I think Denver's always going to be a threat, but I just think OKC is such a well-oiled machine, and Shea is arguably the MVP this year. They're going to be tough, man. They're going to be really, really tough. But hey, like, that's down the line. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played. But anyway, JJ was a nominee. He made the nominee list, which I thought was really cool. And I was a harsh critic of JJ coming into the season just because I thought it was ridiculous that a team or a franchise as prestigious as the Lakers goes and gets a guy fresh off the broadcast booth, who has not a lick of coaching experience outside of coaching like fourth graders or something, to run a franchise with superstars, with expectations. It just seemed crazy to me. And then the whole Pat Riley comparisons, that really pissed me off because I was like, are you kidding me? Pat Riley, you're going to compare that legend, coaching legend who was successful in multiple coaching jobs, to a newcomer who's never coached a game in his life. I just felt like it was disrespectful. Anyway, all these months later, I'm coming around. I'm not saying he's Pat Riley. I mean, that's crazy talk still, but he's a stud. I think he's a legit coach, and I think he's got to have a career in this league for a long time as a coach because he has the respect of the players. He's smart. And he's a winner. I mean, I just keep coming around, and I'm just like, you know what? At some point, this is just not going to work. Like, at some point, he's going to fall back. The pressure's going to be too much. He's going to crack because he does wear his emotions on his sleeve, and I thought that would be his undoing at some point this season. Like, somebody would say something in the media, and he would lose his mind, and that could still happen. That could happen in the playoffs or something. But I think he has shown enough up to this point where I think he's a good coach. He might be a great coach. He might. I think he's had a smile on his face from ear to ear ever since they got Luka, and understandably so, because that extends his coaching life with the Lakers for potentially quite some time if it works. I know those two have chemistry. By that one thing I said in the last pod when I witnessed at the Denver game in Denver, I'm trailing JJ after his press conference down the hallway to the Lakers, away locker room, and there's Luka in the corner doing some weight training, and he's got this smile on his face, like as JJ's walking, he's trying to get JJ's attention, but JJ can't hear him. And then one of the PR people's like, hey, look, Luke was trying to get your attention. And then Luke was like, laughing, essentially. He's like, did you talk about my steals? And he had 4 steals that night. And it was just, you could just tell there was that kind of cool relationship to where they can mess with each other already. And I know they played together, but I didn't think that was going to carry over because it's different, like this guy's your boss now, right? You got to listen to him. He's going to yell at you. He's going to get in your face. He's going to make you accountable. And those relationships can be tough, especially these days when players can be super sensitive and take offense and then want to get traded, because they don't get along with the coach or whatever, or they don't like the situation, or they don't like the way they're being used. But you could just tell there was chemistry, and I was like, wow, okay, very cool. And I think that's going to continue. And you could tell by the way he talks about him. He loves the guy. He loves them, both of them. Both of them. It's mutual respect. And I think that's going to carry on for a while. So the next game we got is in LA still. I Bleav there's a pretty big road trip coming up. Yeah. 4-gamer. So they got New Orleans, right? In LA, Tuesday. I think it's a wash. It's a potential trap game. I mean, like Luka admitted last night, he's like, I thought that whole thing about players all of a sudden playing because they're playing the Lakers, like they've been injured for a long time. All of a sudden they're cleared to play the Lakers was a myth. And he's like, nope, that's true. It happens. I've seen it. So that could be a thing with New Orleans. Like all of a sudden Zion's like, reborn or, has an insane night, which I think he does pretty well against the Lakers. But we'll see there. I'm not really, even if they lose that game, I don't think it's a big deal. They won 6 straight. They've beaten good teams. But it's this next stretch after New Orleans. Starting Thursday, they play New York in LA. So it's right before the road trip, but that's a good team. That's a potential title contender. I don't think they're on the level of a Boston or a Cleveland or whatever in the East, but they're good, right? They're a threat. So they're going to be a challenge. And I think they just got Mitchell Robinson back. So they got him in Towns. They got a formidable front court that's going to be tough to deal with especially being shorthanded, and then obviously the backcourt with Jalen Brunson, who's ridiculous. But so that's a tough game, and then they have a 4-game road trip that's brutal outside of one game. Boston in Boston, and then Brooklyn, which is kind of a wash, but could be a trap game. Like I said, Lakers tend to play down to their competition. Maybe not as much recently, but it's happened frequently this season. In Milwaukee, and then in Denver again. That's tough. 3 out of those 4 games are brutal against teams that are going to want to prove a point, and they're going to want to be like, hey, well, I'm tired of hearing about the friggin' Lakers, especially Boston. Probably it's nationally televised. It looks like all of these are nationally televised. Yeah, except for Brooklyn, of course. So against Milwaukee, it's TNT, HBO Max. Denver, it's NBA TV. And then they even play Phoenix on Sunday, March 16th. It's a game I'll be at, but I will be in a suite with Lakers Nation. We're doing a little event for the fans. So you can go to LakersNation.com, and there's like a little entry form there. You go, and we're going to bring, I'm not sure how many people exactly, but there's a good chance you guys go. And this suite is incredible. I saw it. One of my buddies at Lakers Nation, Matt Moreno, sent me a video. He's like, dude, this is the suite we're getting. And I was like, oh my God. It just looked like one of those like celebrity suites, you know what I mean? Like a crazy done up, like, there's a bar, like I'm guessing we're gonna have our own bartender and stuff. And I'm stoked. I'm making a whole trip out of it. So that's gonna be fun. So that's another potentially tough game. Phoenix, that's nationally televised, ABC, ESPN, and then San Antonio, and then Denver and Milwaukee again, back to backs too. That's another thing I didn't say. The Milwaukee Denver game is back to back. and then Phoenix, and then San Antonio, and then another back-to-back against Denver and Milwaukee. I mean, that's NBA kind of pulled one over on the Lakers there. That sucks. That's not cool. I'm I won't be surprised Luka or LeBron kind of trade off games there because they're still kind of managing both those guys, especially Luka. I think they just don't want to risk anything. I mean, calf injuries are always um, difficult things to deal with, especially with superstars. You don't want to risk it. I mean, Kevin Durant's a perfect example of that. Like, going down in the finals with a torn Achilles after the calf strain that he suffered earlier in the playoffs or whatever. Um, you just don't want to see that happen. So, being very careful, and Luka's the future, right? You don't mess with that. So we'll see. But hey, these are going to be some fun games. I can't wait. I think the rest of the season is going to be exciting. It's going to be the momentum is insane right now. If you told me 2 months ago the Lakers would be in the second seed right now, I would be, you're out of your mind. Be like, you're crazy. These guys are going to be hovering above 500, above and below it, and it's going to be the plan. It's going to be the same crap that we've seen the last 2-3 years. But now there's Luka and the second seed. It's like, it's wild, man. It's wild. I mean, after the game yesterday, I was just kind of like sitting there, just thinking to myself, this is like back. It gave me I got buddies hit me up all the time, ask me like, "Oh, is this legit? Like, is this, what is this? Should I get excited about this? Are we going to a parade kind of thing?" And I said to my buddy Jose Rodriguez, one of my really close friends, who's a diehard Lakers fan, I said, "Dude, this is giving me like Pau Gasol vibes. Like when Pau got traded to the Lakers, it was same deal. Like before the trade deadline, the season's more than halfway over, and then they just hit the ground running immediately. Everything clicked, everything made sense. And I know it was a little rough out of the gate for Luka, but it's the injury was something that's different in comparison to Powell. I mean, Powell was playing, for Memphis and killing it in Memphis. And anyway, light rain to start soon, just so everybody knows. But I'm getting that kind of feeling. Like I'm like, dude, this is just working. Like these guys are all playing well. There's nobody that you're just like, oh my god, this guy's garbage. Why is he on the floor? It's DFS, Vando, Rui, Reeves, LeBron's rejuvenated. It's just all heading in the right direction. And I don't want to jinx it or anything. And I'm sure people will say that if they go on like a 2-game, 3-game losing streak or something. But I don't really care. I'm just speaking my mind. That's what I'm supposed to do. So, when you're on a podcast, that's what you do. But anyway, get excited, Lakers fans. I think this is going to be something that's going to be very cool for years, not just this final stretch, not just the playoffs. Next year and the next 5, at least, in my opinion. As long as everything stays on the straight and narrow, and everybody's cool with each other, and they continue to make moves. Like they still got to get a big. They still got to get somebody in the paint because I think that'll get exposed in the playoffs when things get turned up, to 100% by every team in the league. And in the West is not going to be easy path at all. So, but I got a smile on my face. I'm happy. I love watching Luka play. I think he's an incredible generational talent, and I hope he's around for a very long time. But oh, you know what? Another thing I got to put out there. Underdog Fantasy. We're still doing it. Underdog Fantasy. So if you haven't tried it, you got to give it a shot. You can use my code for this podcast. It's called Jigglin, JIGGLIN, and you get a free pick, and you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your deposit. It's awesome, and I'm not just saying that. I've been using it all season long. I struck up a partnership with them before Bleav did, and I have loved it. And I got all my buddies doing it. We're on text threads every single day, about who we're taking for the Lakers, and I do picks before every game. and I'm taking Luka a lot lately. So it's fun. It just makes it interesting. Give it a shot. If you're just give it a shot. Why not? Give it a shot. Throw $5 on it. Um, they've been doing promos for Luka ever since he got traded, which is very cool. Like, it's because what you do is you pick higher or lower points, assists, steal. I mean, pretty much everything you could think of statistically, and you just go from there. So, like, usually Luka's like what 26 points higher or lower. I'm always taking higher. Got burned a couple times because I think he was just working his way back, man. Now he's just firing all cylinders. So it's just fun, man. You pick the easy way to go is you pick two guys from the Lakers and you pick one from the opposing team. You have to always pick one from the opposing team at least. Um, and then you can just go lower, right? Like we got Pelicans Zion, go lower on his points, just so you have a rooting interest in him, not scoring. But it's fun. Give it a shot. I don't regret it. I love it. I'm going to keep doing it, even if this promotion stops. I'm still going. So why not give it a shot? But until next time, guys, I'm going to try and do this. I will do this post game after every game, and make this a consistent thing while checking in throughout the week. And whatever craziness happens, because it's Lakers, craziness always happens, in a good and a bad way. But until next time, see you later.